Hi folks, I'm at Roxburgh Castle today, or the remains of Roxburgh Castle. I'm about a mile and a half away from Kelso, and I'm stood right now in the ruins of what used to be Roxburgh Castle. And at one point this was the capital of Scotland, and long before Edinburgh became the capital. This place in its heyday was as important as Berwick, Edinburgh, Stirling and Perth, and this castle used to be just as big as, if not bigger than, Stirling Castle, Edinburgh Castle and Berwick. Now when I've said this place used to be the capital of Scotland, this was the throne of government for King David. It's thought or believed that King David the first gave the orders for this place to be built, and it's where he made his home. It's where he had his throne and where he run his government from. Obviously the government changed, times changed, and this, after almost 400 years of being considered to be an international city, was destroyed. Now over there, that's Floor's Castle. That's the home of the Duke of Roxburgh and his ancestors and their families. But in the field just in front, just there on the other side, is what used to be the town, well, what we would consider to be a town today. Back in its heyday, the size of it, it was considered to be a city. If you look online, YouTube for example, there's a video of a time team coming out and excavating it archaeologically and finding that places like the church, the main street, the market street, at one point there was a monastery built there. Now this place lost its international trade when Berwick was taken by the English. Now that in front of us there is the River Tweed, and behind us, and I'll show you in a minute, is the River Teviot, and they both join at Kelso. And Kelso is an ancient borough in its own right, and obviously Roxburgh here used to be a royal borough with King David having his throne here. And both these rivers meet at Kelso, and it's a place, an area that salmon fishers love to come to fish the River Tweed just after the two rivers have joined. And I've taken this walk a few times in my life, and I've often seen salmon fishers on both rivers, the river behind me, the River Teviot, and obviously the River Tweed in front of me. So take a walk around, and as you'll see when I'm going around, there's not much left. Now this bit here, the facing stone there, and this, and I've thought it every time I've seen it, this was a fireplace, and the chimney's gone, and you can't see signs of soot up there or anything, but you can see it in here. And wee bits, there's some there. Bits there. Bits. They're all over. This bit here is, it came to be known as the Douglas Tower. And I'll tell you why in a minute or so. At one point, before the Battle of Bannockburn, Robert the Bruce's two sisters, Mary and Marjorie, were taken prisoner by the English. If I've got my facts right, it was just after the First War of Independence for Scotland. Mary was brought here as a prisoner, and Marjorie was taken down south and put into a convent. Mary spent 4 years, I think it was. I've read different accounts. Some accounts say several years she was spent as prisoner here, and some I've heard it and read it said that it was 4 years here, and she's supposed to have been kept caged outside for those whole 4 years, which is impossible. It really is impossible. Those that have spent a winter in, or a severe winter in the UK, which happens regularly, you'll know yourself, you get temperatures dropping to minus 20, sometimes minus 25, and there's no way anybody could survive being caged up outside and exposed to elements like that. It would kill her. Now, it's said that she was kept in a cage for people's entertainment, and yeah, I can see that. I can imagine her having fruit, etc. being thrown at her. But it's my belief, and I've read it as well, that during the winter times she was kept in the Douglas cage there. The Douglas Tower there. So she was out of the elements. Now, she was released for that cage after the 4 or so years, I believe it was 4 years, after the good Sir James Douglas, or the Black Douglas, whatever you want to call him, he basically took the castle back from the English. And the way he did it, and this is probably the most famous tale about Roxburgh Castle, him and his men basically wore black cloaks, or cowhide cloaks, and in the darkest part of the night they scaled the cliffs. Sorry, I'm calling them cliffs. They scaled the hillsides, and they got into the castle, but with wooden ladders, rope ladders, stuff like that, and started killing off the English, and it took them several days to do so. Now, for the last defence, the English went into the Douglas Tower there, and again a couple of days worth of fighting, etc., to to be able to take over the tower. And Mary de Bruce was rescued. Now, on capturing the castle back, it was Robert the Bruce's way. He did not like castles. He did not like strongholds like this. He gave orders, as he did with a few places, to have it wrecked, to have it basically pulled down, so that it couldn't be used again by the English. Now, those orders were never carried out fully, and after some 40 odd years, the English took the place back and rebuilt, and it was to stand for almost another 400 years. Well, maybe another 300 years. It was eventually destroyed in the 1500s. But down there, there's a board, and along the other end of the river, the other end of this path, there's another board there. I'll try and show them both on the video. So yeah, I'll take a walk around and let me see what's what with the place. Like I said, this was an international city. It did very, very well in trade. Trading things like wool, meat, herbs, stuff like that. And it was quite an affluent place. Yeah. Until the time, like I've said earlier, when Berwick was overtaken by the English, and the English taxed everything that was coming into the country and left absolutely nothing to come up here money wise, and folks eventually had to leave Roxburgh and go elsewhere so they could make a living. Places like Edinburgh still on, because obviously it took cash to be able to survive, just the same as it does today. Now, I've just basically showed you the outside of the wall from what was one entrance. Oh, here we have another one, which I'm not going to be able to reach, I don't think. Unfortunately, I've come at the wrong time of year. I've been meaning to come for a wee while. There's the second entrance there. If you are going to come and visit this place, and I would say, yeah, even if you didn't come up here, that riverside walk at the Teviot, along the Teviot, to Roxburgh village itself, which is it's maybe 3 miles, 4 miles down the road. It's a beautiful walk, absolutely beautiful. Now, the reason I've said didn't come here at this time of year, as you've just seen there, and you can see there in front of me, this place during the summer months is it gets to be, the nettles get to be chest high on an adult, and throughout the place there are tons of hogweed plants, and here's one coming up now. Now, this land's owned by the Duke of Roxburgh, and unfortunately the hogweed that's here breaks a few laws. It should be dealt with, so it's not, and it's, yeah, there's quite a lot of it around. When you're walking around here, You really, really have to use your imagination. A bit of stone there. I often wondered when I'm walking here how much underneath my feet is stone, you know. Yeah, you've really got to use your imagination in here, you know. It would have had royal quarters, kitchens, guards' quarters, soldiers' quarters, chapels, infirmary, you name it, the same as every other castle. But because of what's left, you have to use your imagination. The thickness of that wall. A bevel here, which makes me wonder, was there an entranceway here? You know, and yet that would have been a moat down there. You can see the wall on the other side of it. Obviously the road wouldn't have been there. It wouldn't have been like that. There would have been a wooden bridge somewhere to go into the town or the city. Obviously there's no signs of any remains there. But this is right down to the ground. The bevel shape and the mortar, you know, so I wonder. Even when you get onto the inside of this place, as you can see now, I've just said I can feel rock underneath me. Can't see much of it, but I can feel it. You had to come uphill, even on the inside. So once an army, if an army was ever able to come up these hills and take these walls and siege the place, then it was an uphill struggle, so to speak. Pun meant. Yeah, and this place was taken. It came back and forth several times over the years. Scotland had it, then England had it, then Scotland, then England, then Scotland, then England, until the place was destroyed in the 1500s. Even if he didn't come up here, like I said, the riverside walk along the Teviot down there is well worth it. Beautiful, serene, filled with wildlife. And some geese squawking in the background just to say, aye, we know, as they fly by. There's a couple in there sitting on top of the wall. See if I can get them in picture without scaring them. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Sitting above the entrance there. I'm stood at the edge of what would have been the castle itself, but it didn't end here. There was a smaller area which goes basically to where my finger is pointing now, which was, I don't know, outer yard. There was a smaller wall there, but on the other side of that bit, where my finger is, just about where the fence is, maybe just before it, there's a path that runs up to the road there, and once you reach the road, there's a lay-by there. But I would suggest, if you're visiting here from this side, walk along the river to the far end, and just before the bench at the far end, I'll try and show you, there's a pathway that comes up. It's an awful lot easier climb than trying to climb this. I'm stood at the moment. You can see somewhat. You can see some of the stain there. There's a wall there, and I'm stood on a wall here. There's a wall there. Outer courtyard, sure of it. I've just come down that bit there, and I'm fully aware. You can't see the steepness of it on the video, you really can't. I'm in between, as you can see. That goes nowhere. It does, but I wouldn't recommend it. These are pathways over there, which you can get to just there. I can see a path, a worn path coming over there. Or of course you can take it all the way around for the river. I don't know if you can make it out. I've come past. There's an outer wall there, and an inner wall, and a wee road. It would have run down into there, and all this bit here would have been walled off. Hopefully I'll show that on the board here. Like I said, very popular area for fishermen. It's that popular that they've added this bit to the benches so that they can hang their fishing rods. The geese are still sitting on top of that wall there. Garden entrance. Nature taking over, eh? Nature taking over. Guarded these days by nature, by wildlife, instead of soldiers. It's a shame, I suppose. I'm saying it's a shame it hasn't been protected and preserved for the sake of our history. I suppose nature takes over everything at some point. Now, like I said, here's the main walls of the castle there, moated to there, and the entrance there, but you can see there's been weird walls around here and around here. Time team reckons there was possibly a wall down here for protection, but I don't know. I'm going to have a look at that video. If you put in Time Team at Roxburgh Castle into YouTube, you'll find the video. It's well worth watching. There's an artist's impression of the good Sir James and his men approaching the wall. Unfortunately, some idiotic vandal has scored these first two bits and I can't read them even with my bare eye, so sorry. I think it's basically saying 1125, which I know is wrong. It should say 1120 that the castle was first mentioned, and the other one, 1174, would be when the English first took the castle over. So, take a wee walk along the end here and walk back into Kelso, and I'll show you a wee bit of the river walk here. Now if you do decide to do this river walk, it's, I mean obviously you can do it either side. To walk down to Roxburgh village and back, you can take this route down or back, and the same with the other side down back. There's a pathway on that side as well, and it's a beautiful, beautiful walk. Such a serene area. It's quite a popular walk. Last time I was out here, I seen a walking club from Berwick, and there was 16 of them, along with a couple of dog walkers. Get a dog or something like that. What's a swan? It's behind the bushes, but I wondered what that was. It's a swan's wings flapping. I'm a duckling. My man are ducklings, sorry. There's the Douglas Tower there. Somewhere online, there's a couple of paintings of this place. One of them I think was done in the 1920s and I can't remember the artist's name. If my memory serves me correctly, the artist the painting is on Wikipedia, if my memory, one of the paintings, if my memory serves me correctly. And in the 1920s, that is a dragonfly. I don't know if you can make that out or not. Beautiful. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. I said earlier in the video about an easier way up to the castle from this end. The boards are way along there, maybe there, but this is how I get up. It's an awful lot easier, and you can find it just beyond, if you're walking from Kelso, it's just beyond this stone bench here, or this concrete bench. There's a Iron coming up. Oh, you beauty. It's flying right at me. Beautiful. Yeah. And you can see here, obviously I don't know. The stones here. Maybe part of the castle. I don't know. There in the distance is Kelso. I've just reached the end of this riverside walk. Your choice here, you can either go over the ancient style there, which I'm going to do, or you can go round to just beyond that tree where you can maybe see the shed there, and you come out there onto the path. This should give you an idea of how large this place used to be. No, I've walked maybe a mile downriver, and this place here was part of the town of Roxburgh, or the city of Roxburgh. Love coming across this style. Just look how worn it is. Wonder how many feet, many thousands of feet, human feet, I've stepped across these stiles like I've just done over the centuries. Look how worn that stone is. It'll take an awful lot of people crossing that stile to get it that worn. Anyway folks, I'm going to call it a day at that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it hasn't bored you. And if you can, please press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything at all on YouTube. It just notifies you when I put a new video up. But it all helps out my channel. So anyway, thanks for watching folks. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks now. Bye.